What's up? What's up? All my funketeers around the world. It's a beautiful Saturday. We got a hot one for you today, y'all. None other than the princess of funk. We got Pender Jones with us today. You know how we roll it. North Carolina, where you at? And also special tribute to Brenda Honeybee Robinson. We got to be. This show is dedicated to Honeybee Robinson, y'all. Let's start up in New York. Where you at, New York City? Long Island, where you at? Funk from the front seat is a fun. Nine on the grind, TV. Delaware, are you aware? Philadelphia, what's up, Dr. Brookenstein? Washington, D.C., P-Funk, Bethesda, Maryland, we got you. Rhode Island, I got you. New Jersey, you heard the P-Funk, Plainfield, we got you. Up in Minneapolis, thank you for the hat, Vanessa, I love you. Woo! Funk from the front seat. Pender Jones is with us today, and we are excited, y'all. Oh, we're going to be kicking it and telling you the real truth. The Detroit 313, where you at? Woo, Kentucky, I got you. Tennessee, you're the only funk I see. South Carolina, got you. Virginia, say ho. Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma, New Orleans, I love y'all. My producer, Mr. Mark, leaves in the house with us today. Funk from the front seat, live on the Grind TV on this beautiful Saturday. Woo. Let's go out west. I love you, Joanne. Thank you for those beautiful photos, man. Nevada, California, Utah, I got you. Brazil, new fan over there. Caro, I got you, bro. Thank you. Australia, I love you, Carmen. Germany, I love you, Patty. England, Dubai, Ireland, Elizabetta, DJ Cocolino in Italy, I got you. Thank you for playing the music. Nothing but the funk. Brenda in Ohio, Susie and Patty, I didn't forget you, so clap your hands for me. Yeah, this is one of Brenda's favorite funk songs, y'all. Funk, getting ready to roll with Pender Jones today. Hawaii, Samoan, doing the Humpty Hump, Humpty Hump. Japan, Tokyo, I'm Young High, say yo. Africa, Dubai, Iraq, Iran, I got you. Brazil, South America, como está, señoritas in Puerto Rico, Canada, Russia, Ukraine, where you at? Let Britney Griner go. Nothing but the funk, y'all. Are y'all hyped up yet? Because I'm real hyped. Pender Jones is with us today, y'all. And we going to do this thing like we do it. Funk from the front seat. All around the world for the funk. Every Saturday, 9 on the Grind TV. We right here bringing you the best of the best of the best. And today, we got a special one for you. This woman is my funk sister. She is truly amazing. Her gift of love and pouring out of her honest hard work in the music business is second to none. You know, she works in about 4 different bands, always on the go. She, ex-military, we salute that. And listen, man, without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Pender Jones on because it's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to do this show for you guys out there. Again, dedicated to Brenda Honeybee Robinson. What's up, Pender?
Come on, Funk family. What is it? What's going on? How you doing? Love to everybody.
You know how I'm doing.
Brother, you still high as I am?
Yo, ain't we together?
Like we on the mothership, we still rising, bro.
Still riding, man. If they didn't ride with us, too late.
They missed a heck of a trip.
Yo, let me tell you something. First of all, having you on the show after the event, we'll talk about that as an honor. For those of you that don't know, Pender Jones, she is the lead singer and and my brother's keeper, one of her rock bands. Also, very famous down here, doing a pop thing, the Amazing Lounge Lizards, and she's up front for that, as well as doing stuff with the Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0, as well as Tony Cam and the Funk All Stars and all her other
Absolutely.
projects that she's doing. This woman right here, second to none, Prince of Funk, Princess of Funk. So let me ask you, um, coming off of, well, first of all, shout out, to your husband Kirk, because he's the man, and I'm gonna quote something later that he said that really touched my heart. So I love you, big bro. I love you, man. Well, actually, I'm older, so he'd be my little brother, right? I love
Right.
you, little brother. But I wanted to ask you, you're so dedicated to your craft and doing this funk thing like we doing and bringing it back around, keeping it alive. How does that make you feel inside?
Um, it what it does for me, it warms a certain little spot in my heart because it has its own purpose. Funk is second to none, and like there's no other genre that of music. And let me put it out there, I love all genres. I can relate to every genre of music that exists. There's nothing you can throw on me. Now, I may not like a particular song, but there's a song within that genre that I can relate to, regardless of what it is. But the thing with funk is in a class of its own. And as historical as it is, you would think that it would be prominent no matter where you go. But it's amazing how people have, borrowed bits and pieces from it, but don't give the recognition to it, to the foundation that it has in a lot of the music that we even hear today. So, to bring funk back to the forefront, it's a purpose for me. Like it really it has me. I got tunnel vision. I'm like, yo, people need to feel what it is I'm feeling when I hear this. When I hear one of those signature lines, from one of those signature riffs Bootsy lay down, or something that Star Child put down a while ago. People need to be able to, the same feeling, people need to be able to feel that, or at least have their own relatable feeling to when that hits their ear. So my purpose, as far as funk is concerned, I am intentionally purposeful in ensuring that that is brought back to the forefront. Be it me singing it, being me playing it, whatever it is that I have to do, I'm gonna put my hand, make sure my hand is in it to get it back to the forefront and get it the recognition that it deserves.
Yo, man, that's so well said. And again, we're hanging out with Pender Jones, this amazing woman. She's a princess of funk. Got her own things happening. The Amazing Lounge Lizards, my brother's keeper. And thank you guys for tuning in this Saturday. Please stay active on the chat line. We love you guys out there, and we will get back to you and respond. Pender's information is on the bottom, and we'll be switching up that banner periodically. Thank you to my producer, Mr. Mark Lee. Pender, you said something very important about the mission. And this is what we do. We have a mission that we're going to finish or keep alive till our transition comes, something that is extremely, extremely important.
Yep.
Okay. And it was so nice to hold your hand and be baptized together in this thing. There's only been 5 of them, so we made history. I thought about that. I was like, I could not have a better soul sister, funk sister from my heart, ride or die,
Yep.
than you.
Brother.
It was like,
Like, I likened it into like my very first time going to Disney World. Because for me, I had never experienced, that level of funk. Um I've had my moments on stage, here, there. However, that was that transcended anything that I've ever done in my career. Um, so whenever I got, just, stepping in for sound check, like it I had chills, bro, because you could feel the presence of all of those who are just, they were, I felt like people, like I could feel the ancestors saying,
Yes.
here, now,
Yes.
this,
Now.
you, right place, right time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And this is just with the performers being, this is not with anybody, this is literally just us being in that place. It was surreal. I'm, before we go any further, again, um mad love, mad respect. I never got to meet her, but I've heard so much about Brenda, Honeybee Robinson. My condolences to Keith, Brenda's family. I wish it had happened in a different time, but the Creator knows best. I wish you peace. Rest well, my sister. We may not meet on this side of the funk, but we shall meet on the other side. And to you, brother Zach, man, who would have thought? Who would have thought? You could have easily gotten your things and left that night, but there was a spirit that said, "Hey, let me go talk to her." And it was one of those nights that even coming off stage, typically people are, waiting around to talk to me. But that particular night, nobody else came to that table. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
Nobody came to that table.
Yes, because at first I thought I was sitting at your table, but I wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do. It was divine.
It was divine. And
I never go out on my birthday.
Yep.
Ever. I stay home, stay to myself. Didn't know
Yep.
a lot of people. They forced me to go.
Yep.
And I was like, man, I don't even want to go to Tony's. I played in there. I was like, yeah, been there, done that. Tony's is cool. I said, who's playing? I was like, I was all snotty and snobby and shit. I was like, who's playing it? Right, I really was. And then so my friend Mark says, oh, the Amazing Loungers. I was like, okay, I heard about them. I was like, they got that girl and that guy in front. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check them out, see what funk they got. Mm-hmm. And when I saw you, I was like, oh, she don't even know. She's in my band now. She can still do shit with them, but she this is me right there.
Yeah.
Because you was singing Mother's Finest, Tear the Roof Off and all that. And when I heard that, and I heard your voice, and I seen where it was coming from, I saw your vibe, your aura. I said, she's got to roll with me. Keep her other projects going, do them too. But she's got to roll with me because I knew you was going to be next to me in Maryland.
You did. You had that vision.
Come from the Creator, man. Yep. That's all it is. You didn't shock me because I know you, but right. you put a lot of thought into other people's minds that night. You really did. You really did. And the beautiful part of it, you're such a peaceful woman with a warrior spirit.
Yeah,
and heart, and that's what I love about you, sister. You're my sister, man. Because I told you my older sister passed away, whatever. Yeah. So now you're her. You're her, man. Because you were sent to me to kind of help me help others where we are here. Because see, we trying to get them there.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to dig it now, but if they just kind of like hang on,
right.
And follow us, we can do this together.
We really can. And honestly, Zach, it's a movement, brother. It's not something that's stationary. It's constantly moving. And people, if I want people to, as I like to often say, I want people to hear with their eyes as well as their ears.
Yes.
because you can see those who have vision. Let me put that on it, put that spin on it. Those who have that vision, you can see the sound
Yes.
around you.
Yes. Yes.
It's a different prism.
Yes. It is. That's right. That's right.
And I need for people to, but you got to be you got to have the right lenses on, and you got to be in the right state of mind.
Third eye.
For those of you out there in funking from the front seat land, it is very it's something that you have to have the right set of lenses on, and you have to be open. You can't be closed minded, honestly, with anything that is spiritual, um because no spirit moves in the same way with every person. So this thing is, it's not just about notes being played or sang, or movement on a stage. It is so much deeper, and it is so much more. And it's a conundrum of things put together, but it's an emotion. It is a vision. It is a feeling. You can hear, take all senses, everything, every sense that you have, you can relate that to music. Like I can taste something. I can taste the funk in something.
Oh God, yes. God, yes. Smell it, eat it, taste it,
Smell it.
talk it, see
Absolutely.
it, live it. It is. And you know what was so
Everything.
cool? At least 10 of us up there, or maybe 7 of us that I counted, have our own bands.
Yes.
That's a whole nother trip. Like we
Yep.
were chosen to be all stars, like the NBA All Stars, or
Mm-hmm.
So that to me was one of the highest honors. Like
Yep.
I've had a few in the funk thing, Funk Chronicles, Ohio
Yep.
interview, Bootsy and Patty, of course, Club Funk the Ambassadors. Shout out Club Funk the Ambassadors.
Shout
And
out.
this thing right here, because um I guess Mark, could you pull up one of those pictures, please? Because so we could just show it. We're hanging out with Pender Jones today, of the amazing lounge lizards, and my brother's keeper, and Napier Funk Army 2.0, Tony Camp Funk All Stars, and other stuff. Because pictures speak 1,000 words, and there's one where you and I are together doing something, and you can see that 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional prism you talk.
Yep. Yep. I think I know exactly which one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's like it's deep. And let me ask you this while Mark is doing that, and thank you, Mark. Meeting your peers, because these are our peers, they're mentors and peers. Like Mike is a
Yep.
mentor, Linda Scheid is a mentor, but everyone else to you and I, they're our peers. Meeting our peers to me was really important to let them know, listen, we know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just hang out with us, and then you'll see.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that?
I'm not even gonna lie, brother. I was so intimidated initially, and again, this is my first ball, um, and I'm a place that I never imagined myself being, but I'm at my first ball, and I look up, and I have Shirley Clinton standing beside me. Next to her is Jackie Cam. You know, um, then slightly to the back of Jackie, killing, shredding the axe, is Michael Hampton,
All right.
Funkadelic himself. Who would have ever thought? Never in my wildest dreams. Never. And to be graced to be standing on this side of me is the beautiful wife of none other than Star Child himself. Gary Scheider's wife, widow, Linda. Who? Who would have ever thought that? Like I had a moment that I was looking at, that I was, somebody snapped a picture and sent it to me, but I was literally, we were singing and it's like my head was turned. I could not believe I was standing beside Linda.
Yeah. Linda's so cool. Yeah.
She is so, she's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
And to meet either, Mama Sandy's presence.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine doing that without her being there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's a cheerleader and a half, bro.
I mean, Kendra Foster.
Yeah.
And let me just say, Kendra, I hope you listening to this. Baby, you almost brought tears in my eyes when you sang "I'll Stay," honey. I was back there. I was about to fall out like Jamie Foxx falls out on that show whenever somebody pull out a gun or something. I was like, oh, I almost fainted.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned about the people that, our peers that we were working with on stage. And shout out to Tony Cam and Jackie Cam, Julia Wrigley, Dr. G, of course, the late Brenda Robinson and Robert Woods and everyone else that continues to hold the Chocolate City Alliance together. Next year is going to be bigger and better. I'm already promoting for it now on this show. I'm telling y'all, if you guys are into the funk thing, y'all need to be there. Regardless whether I play or not, you need to be there because it is what it is. And I heard a little birdie told me George Clinton and Carlin dug it. Word got back to them the next day. So George, Dr. Funkenstein, some of that, all of that, we're all your clones, the clones of Funkenstein. Yep. So technically, you were Bootsy and Bernie, that was for y'all. That was for y'all. And the thing is, and we're hanging out with Pender Jones today. And the thing is, like you said, you turn around and, I told Mike this story, man. I said, man, I had you on my wall. And I hung out with them before. Never got a chance to jam with them, but I hung out with them before, jammed a little bit here, a little bit there, but not like that. And I said, man, I had you on my wall at 17, bro. I said, bro, it's been 50 years. I said, it was worth the wait.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Worth the wait, man. So, we're going to put a cap on this and your final thoughts, and then we're going to move on. Thank you, Mark, for that. Oh, yeah. That's the shot. That's the one.
The shot.
Look, no, go back, Mark. Look at the light on you. That's the one I like. Look at that. You get beamed up. Look at that shit.
Yo, we were in the zone. Look, I'm going to tell you what happened. I turned around. Tony was doing his thing up front, right? And that we were doing I'm gonna make you sick. Gonna make you sick. And Tony was standing in front. And, he was right there in front of where Chris Schmidt, Killing the Keys, Chris, he was standing right there in front of Chris. And Mike had the mic in his hand and the mic was up. And then I glanced over and I saw you bend. You was walking over where I was. And then you bent down. I was like, well, let me see what I can. I went with it. I was like, well, let's go on get it then.
Let's do this, right? I'm gonna make you sick. No, give you the antidote.
Yes.
The funny part about that tribal feeling, and shout out to Janice Perry, man, my homegirl down here in North Carolina. I love you, Janice, JP. Man, she's always saying what we do with this funk thing is so tribal. It just makes you move.
It really does.
And see, I can't stand up straight when I'm funking. I try, but my body goes into the
You got to go low. You got to get a sway. I noticed in some of the videos that were, that are floating around Facebook. Of course, I'm looking through the video and, I'm short, but that red made me easy to find.
Oh, you seen. Yeah, we know you.
Yeah, with that hat and them glasses, and I was like, okay, well there I am. I was like, I can't see much of me, but I know that hat moving. I know the rest of me moving too.
Mm-hmm. And see, like I always say with these things, like you just said, it's fourth and fifth dimensional through a
It is.
prism. So what people are hearing, what people are feeling, a collective vibe. Everybody on that stage had a collective thought process, which then transmitted to the audience. One love, and then transmitted to the heavens. I
Yep.
know the heavens above opened all of that up for us.
Yeah.
That's why it's our
Absolutely.
time. And I'm always telling people, listen, it's our time now. We are not old, but we are the keepers of the funk.
Yep.
Shout out to
Yep.
Next Exit. We are the keepers of the funk.
That we
And
are.
I know everybody on that stage will do well and keep it. You know, I know that, man, because second to none, it was one of the hottest shows on the East Coast this summer. I
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Dumpster Funk and Trombone Shorty was hot. George
Yep.
Clinton up in Brooklyn was hot. You know, Big Fat Booty Band. I heard they turned some stuff out up in Maryland, but we were on one of the hottest shows. And for everybody out there that attended, the audience, you guys were amazing. It was an
They were.
honor and a privilege.
They were fire. And I'm so honored to
Thank you, Mark.
just have been in that in the presence of that whole wave of emotion. Yeah, definitely.
Before we put a bow on that, Kurt, I'm going to read his quote. My little brother Kurt, the coolest thing I've ever done.
Wow.
I'm glad I got to experience this with Pender Jones. Met some legends, made some new friends, and got to see, the funk, the real. So, love you, little brother. That's what I'm talking about.
That
See,
right there, boo.
that's it. That's it right there, man. Mr.
Yeah.
Mark Lee, I love to hear Keith Jackson's voice. We're gonna take a second and give a shout out while we're hanging out with Pender Jones. We're gonna come back on the other side with some serious subjects, talking about financial literacy for minorities and youth. You know, the new Elvis Presley movie. We're gonna touch on that for a minute, and about teaching people about money, and also, we're gonna put a cap on her other bands, My Brother's Keeper, the Amazing Lounge Lizards. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a problem saying lounge lizards. I got to work on that. One of my tongue twisters, you know what
I
I'm
know,
saying?
right?
But I did get the pole in the pipe right. Y'all rehearsed it with me, so it was showtime. I did. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yep. Pole in the pipe.
Yeah, yo, I'm telling you, Mark. Hit us up with Keith Jackson, bro, when you get a second, and Chrissy, man.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk because he brings it every week, along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check them out.
Thank you so much, Keith Jackson, and shout out to Brenda Honeybee Robinson. We're going to touch base a little bit about her at the end of the show when we do our Hero of the Week. We're hanging out on the other side of the clock with Pender Jones, this amazing artist, vocalist, very much into some other things that you might not know about. Number one, I wanted to give a shout out because this is Deaf Awareness Month, September. And also, over in England, we understand your queen died, and we respectfully pay our condolences.
Absolutely.
And also, the first Black journalist on CNN, Bernard Shaw, last week passed away. And we didn't forget about you, brother. But you're a veteran, U.S. Army, graduated George Washington University.
Yep.
And I'm proud of you for that. Push it up, G-Dub. You know what I'm saying? And tell us a little bit about how you got into this music thing.
Well, I started out, of course, in church. Hallelujah. All praises to my Lord and Savior.
Yep.
Nothing, I just, honestly, it's all of him and none of me. Um, I have, strong uh, background in the church. My brother, rest in peace, so gifted. He was an amazing uh, pianist, but moreover, he was so spiritually connected, and his vocal talent. My brother had a full range octave, and that was something that he did. That he was just gifted with, and he was integral in my growth for what I'm able to do vocally. Now, I'm never where I'm never to a point to where I can't learn, or I'll ever stop learning or trying to hone that craft.
Right.
And after we lost him in 2004, I stopped singing for a long time.
Right.
Long time. I wouldn't do it. But I know that is not something that he would have been particularly proud of. He was one of my hugest supporters. I know that and my dad, whom I lost last November, coming up on a year. My dad was particularly excited when I stepped back into the arena to start back singing. So just start those roots. And again, even when I came back into it, first place I went back to was gospel. My father encouraged me heavily. He said, "There's people that will never step inside of a church that should hear you." He said, "So don't limit yourself." Why
Right.
limit yourself? He said, "You don't have to, he said, "I don't care what the world thinks you should or shouldn't do.
Amen.
Don't limit yourself. You sing
Right.
whatever your heart, whatever's laid." He said, "Whatever the Lord lays on your heart for you to sing, you sing it.
Right.
He said, don't put your eggs in your basket of eggs in man and man's perception."
Yep.
So I hit the ground running, bro. I'm one. I am a daddy's girl. Now, that's one thing. I'm a daddy's girl. If my daddy tell me to do something, I'm doing it. I ain't asking nobody else no question. I'm going. My daddy said I could do it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's that's first man I ever loved.
Right. Right. Right.
And the only man that I can honestly and truly say that I never had a fear that he would ever break my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I do now is to honor both him and the legacy that my brother never fully obtained in what he was doing musically whenever
Right.
he transitioned. So I
What
won't
was your brother's name?
My brother's name was Kevin Pittman. And my dad's name is Glenn Mason.
Awesome. Shout out.
So, shout out, Daddy Kevin. I love y'all.
Well, they are looking down on you right now, probably having a beer, sipping somewhere with the crowd up there, and saying, "Look at my baby girl."
Yeah, my daddy's somewhere in a recliner with his legs crossed. I'm like, "That's my baby.
That's my baby." Yeah. Same with my father. He's somewhere with his Mets hat. Somewhere, and my mother and sister probably cooking.
Right? Absolutely.
But they're all with us, man. They're just always with us.
Absolutely.
So how many years did you serve in the military?
I served 10.
Okay.
10.
What was your background?
Laboratory. What I do right now at Duke.
Okay.
Laboratory medicine.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, I stuck with it. It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
It is a position I've always loved helping people.
Right.
I've not always loved interacting one-on-one with people. I'm
Right.
just put that out there. Just like, I know that there are people in the nursing field that, they have, you have to, it takes a special person to be a nurse.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. It does.
I have that desire to do my part in patient care. I just don't always have, just because I'm so analytical, to the mentality to deal one-on-one with people, and just being honestly just people and emotions. I'm a Scorpio, so if that means anything to anybody, you guys understand, how as astrologically the makeup of a Scorpio. We can we would give you a stank face in a minute, and we would cut you off. But we will. So I had to choose, and I had to choose wisely. But I
Right.
also knew that whatever I did, I wanted it to be impactful.
Right.
And so when I went to get assigned, because you have to have a certain score to be even considered for certain jobs in the military. And I could have easily gone into military intelligence. But no, I don't want to be sitting in a tree
Right.
in the
Right.
elements,
Yeah. Yeah.
looking out for a week to see what the activity is on a particular street. Ain't my thing. Um, Plus, I don't like being outside like that.
Right. Right. Right.
So, they started telling me about jobs in the medical field. And I said, well, what's this? What's this right here? And the guy said laboratory. And I said, oh, it's science. I said, true science based. And he broke it down for me. I was like, yo, sign me up for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one I want.
Good for you.
Yep. So
Good for you. That's heavy. The fact that you were able to transition straight from the military into something that you truly loved. A lot of people aren't that lucky.
cool.
I know a lot of veterans, and I know, shout out to all the veterans out there, because I know it's super duper hard for you guys, man. So we take care of our veterans, and we honor what you do. Every man and woman that served, man, we really do, man. So financial literacy for minorities and youth in this country. When we say that statement, we break it down. Tell me your thoughts on that financial literacy.
Well, people, let's be honest. We need capital. We need funds to maintain day-to-day living.
Yeah, we do.
And a certain quality of life, it requires, money.
Yes.
What I've realized as I've gotten older is that certain values have to be instilled in and what's the word I'm looking for? Not just value, habits.
Right.
Certain habits have to be put in place at a young age. I did not learn this myself with my older children. So my older kids, my oldest son and my twins, let's face it, most of that time I was just paycheck to paycheck trying to survive. Then, I started, when I got to the point to where I could begin saving, and then I started looking back, and I'm like, I don't ever want my children, or at least my youngest child, and my grandchildren, to ever feel like they have to choose between paying their, buying food or providing shelter for their family. So I started looking and doing homework and looking at not just, I'm not talking about rich people or middle, just habitual savings. I'm talking about really looking at how to be financially wealthy. And it honestly starts with a habit of what you do when money is presented to you. So I started doing research on certain financial, just financial and investment websites. I even started looking at, like the trend and the growth in cryptocurrencies and, different things of that nature. But what I found is that people are moving away from just putting money in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Stop. Yes, it's good you do need savings. You need savings because you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. And so you need a cushion. And I always say you need 3 times what it is that of your monthly expenses. So that's 90 days of expenses that you need to have in savings. But beyond that, you need to invest. And we need to start teaching our children how to invest.
Yeah. Amen.
We don't and not place so much value in material things. See, that's how wealthy people will take. Say you give a wealthy person $1,000. Well, even frugal people or people who are considered rich, you give them $1,000. The first thing in their head, a rich person, is to take half of it. So they're going to take half and put half of that in savings, and then the other 500 they're going to, they do whatever with. But a wealthy person is going to go even further because that savings to them is not theirs. They're going to take 75% of that, because think about it, that 1,000 is just that. It's they never look at it as their own.
Right.
And they're going to take, instead of taking 50%, they're going to take 75% of that, because remember, they already have the cushion that they need.
Yes.
So they're going to invest 75% of that. That 25% that they have, they're not just spending it blindly and putting it into, material things. It's going, that $250 that they have left, it will be used to meet a need. And historically, whatever need is being used for is a need that is going to produce more capital on the end.
Right.
So what I'm teaching my now 17-year-old is that, look, when I give you money, understand that I'm telling you what I have. It is, all of it is not yours.
Right.
Understand that if I say I'm giving you $50, don't make plans for $50.
Right.
You don't, because you don't, it's, at the end of the day, it really ain't your money, it's my money. I'm just allowing you to use it. Mm-hmm. But don't ever plan on using that entire $50.
Right. Exactly.
I said the most you will be able to use at any given time is $25.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna tell you what I have available, but then I'm putting that to the side for you.
Right.
And I've made it clear to him, because he's very adamant about getting a job. Mom, I want to work. Mom, I say, I'm for you working. I said, I will never tell a man not to work. I said, and you are a young man. I'll never tell a man not to work. However, I want you to understand that you working does not change the rules that I have for your financial health.
That's right.
So when you get a check that comes into this address, 50% of it at a minimum is going
Right.
into a savings account. Typically, actually, we're going to add it to a CD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching him now about compound interest.
Yeah.
The difference in what you earn, which, let's face it, the economy, you're not earning anything on a regular savings or checking account, a money market account. You're not, those things are not, those are not no longer earning accounts.
That's right.
You need to soundly financially invest in a CD, something that is going to produce compound interest and grows over time, so that even when you stop adding to it, it is still growing. It is constantly growing.
Right.
And you have to be consistent with it.
Right.
And so that's one goal that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, I'm thinking of ways. So I told them we're going to set up the next time I have a weekend off, we're going to set up and we're going to have like this, a party for his friends.
Right.
So each one teach one. I said, my expectation of you is that any information I give you, you share it with your friends.
That's
I said,
right.
because they may not have access to that.
That's right.
I said, some will receive it, some won't. But those that are willing to receive it and willing to apply it, give it to them. And if they have questions beyond your knowledge, send them to me.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
I said, so we have to help each other.
Yeah,
and that's my goal.
Yeah.
Is to keep our youth, get our youth on the right mindset, get how to be credit healthy. Just because you are qualified for a credit card, that don't mean you need to go out and get it.
Right.
You don't need to get it.
Right.
Be conscious of the credit offers that because there are vultures out there.
Yeah, they are, and they want an interest. That's how they make
want
their
that
money.
interest.
Yeah.
They want that interest.
And this information also goes for adults too.
Absolutely.
A lot of us have had these financial issues, myself included, because we weren't paying attention. Something slipped by. Could have been medical thing, divorce, whatever. And this information is good for everybody. We're hanging out with Pender Jones today, the amazing Lounge Lizards and, vocalist extraordinaire. On Funk from the Front Seat, not on the Grind TV, every Saturday, 12 p.m. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee's back there chilling. We'll bring you on in a bit, Mark, and talk about some things. But one of my guests that comes on a lot of times, Linda Tello, the 1099 lady, said she has, sets up 2 different checking accounts. One she uses for her pay of bills, and one she pays into it like it is a bill. And never touches that money, and she doesn't have a debit card for that particular one. It's just there, in case of emergencies. And that's kind of like what you're saying, that 50%, 75%, try to put that towards something else,
That's right.
So you're very wise in that area. And, for those of you watching, man, please take this advice, because we don't know what the top people are going to do next to us. You know what I'm saying? They tried to kill us with COVID. They're squishing the economy. Now I just heard something about a rail strike. I don't know what that's about. And then the funny thing is, right? Sidebar, the trains run on all the tracks, but apparently Amtrak doesn't own all the track. What the hell is that about? They can only go on certain tracks? Who bought out train tracks? I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I got that information earlier today at work, and mind you, I'm not big on the news. I'm gonna put that on out there. I'm not big on listening to news, because I understand that it can be different from one channel to the next.
It's poison. It is all the same.
And so when information is presented to me, I never speak on. I try not to speak on it or react to it. I do my own research. I go and do my own research. I saw this in a movie, Players Club.
Right.
Trust nobody's information but my own.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and do my own research into, okay, let me see what this source has to say. Let me see what this source has to say. All right, I'm gonna go over here to something that has nothing to do with these other 2 sources and see what this source has to say. I have to get confirmation from several different outlets before I will run with something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
it's crazy.
To when you think about the supply chain, like a lot of people don't realize how much we depend on the railroads. Everything can't be flown.
Yep.
High pressure gases and things of that nature cannot go up in an airplane, people. No. And a lot of things are put on a boat. They're put on cargo. And when they take those cargo holds off of the boat and they put them in those shipyards, guess where they go next, y'all? Usually there's some train tracks right there by that shipyard.
That's right. Casey Jones.
They getting on the train. Choo choo.
Yep, Casey Jones. Yep.
And whenever you start messing, and you think about it, those people in power, they understand. They're always looking at ways to capitalize on a need.
Yes.
On a need. And if there's no need, they're going to create one.
That's right.
Because it creates an opportunity for them to further capitalize.
Yep.
So you got to understand how people with power think.
Yeah, the game. That's right.
It's the game.
Yeah.
So, I want all of us, everybody, your third eye is there for a reason. I need you to use it. Please.
Right. Y'all heard it first right here. So use that third eye and pay attention to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And pass the positive information, dump the negative information, spread the light, not the dark. Peace, love, and harmony. That's what we do. All right, let's move on. Mark, you're going to run that trailer for us before we touch base on this next thing. This movie came out. I'm sure it's a little controversial, but, we're going to talk about that for a hot second, the Elvis Presley thing. So Mark got the promo ready, and we're going to look at this for about 3 minutes before we get into this. But again, man, you're speaking some truth and, kicking it real hard for people out there. So you guys stay alive on the chat line on this beautiful Saturday. It's awesome to have Pender Jones in the house with us in person. So she's my sister.
So glad to be here, brother.
Yo, man, it's all good. It's surreal. Like
there are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story.
Let's don't let a good thing die.
Are you born with destiny? Or does it just come knocking at your door?
He's a young singer from Memphis, Tennessee. Give him a warm hayride welcome. Mr. Elvis Presley.
Get a haircut, buttercup.
In that moment, I watched that skinny boy transform into a superhero. My destiny. I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley. Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
Tomorrow, all of America will be talking about Elvis Presley.
Presley, try not to move around so much during the tape. I can't move, I can't sing. Some people want to put me in jail, so I was moving.
They might put me in jail for walking across the street, but you're a famous white boy.
The way he sings is God-given, so there can't be nothing wrong with it.
Senator Kennedy has been shot.
Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis.
That's all right for you.
Tragedy, but it has nothing to do with us.
It has everything to do with us.
Oh, my Lord, my darling.
Reverend once told me, when things are too dangerous to say, sing.
I'm gonna be
before the show. And nobody's gonna remember me. I need to get back to who I really am. And who are you, Oz? I just gotta be making the most of this thing while I can. This can all be over in a flash.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity. The greatest show on earth.
Elvis has left the building.
That's funny. Elvis has left the building. He was a bad boy, but I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one because
So, I'm not sure about anybody else, but I know that as a little girl, I remember, always being told, we don't listen to Elvis Presley in this house. Elvis was a racist. Elvis has been known to say the only thing a Negro can do for me is buy my records and shine my shoes.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that because I was told that. But this analytical chick, when she got older, decided she was going to do her own research. Nobody has it documented where Elvis has actually said that. It was said that somebody else said that somebody else said, which is kind of like the whisper game.
Yeah, the telephone. That's right.
The whisper game. So then I started going through and I said, well, if he did all of this based in Memphis and all of, Mississippi, started out in Mississippi, surely there had to be somebody done heard something.
Even by accident, right?
Right. Well, everything that I've come across, even some of the documentation and the interviews and back and forth, but from way back when, even when things were still segregated, that man has never said, he's never been quoted to say anything to make you think that he was a racist.
Yeah.
To put him in a racist light.
Yeah.
And so I had to check myself because that's a whole set of music that I wouldn't allow myself to be privy to.
Yeah.
Just because of the stigma that was there that he was a racist. Oh, I'm not listening to anything Elvis. Elvis stole from Black artists. Elvis did this. Elvis and B.B. King were friends.
Yeah.
Elvis literally from day one acknowledged that his sound, his motivation came from the great Robert Johnson.
That's right. And it's funny you mentioned that, and I'm gonna let you finish. For us, we was listening to it all the time because it was all over New York. So to me, he was just trying to get, like you and I, to the best musicians. So he had to go to the church. So to me, that's not racist. He didn't care what color. They could have been like purple singing in there or green. He just wanted to be and learn from the best.
Yep.
And, there was always a thing about the King of Pop, him and Michael and Prince. But see, I look at them in different categories, different times,
Absolutely.
And they all did what they did. It came along because Edo, Elvis, he wrote that song in the ghetto as a kid. That song used to make me cry. Christmas albums, religious albums, his band was ass kicking, all the shit he was doing on stage.
Yeah.
He was doing some incredible shit. So people do need to give him, and like you said, he never really said or maybe documented some of the stuff that people put out.
And here's my thing. I urge, if anyone can find where there is actual documentation, video, audio recording, anything, or even quotation, where he is where he is outwardly saying or doing anything for that perception to give merit to that, please send it to me. Right. Please send it, because I in my research efforts over the past 10 years have not been able to find anything. And I have been diligently searching. So when this movie surfaced, at first I said, I'm not going to do that. Man, I sat down and watched that movie about 2 weeks ago. Just I had chills the entire time. Yeah. Now, I don't know how accurate of a depiction that it was, because it was pretty much told from the Colonel's view. Right. However, I will say this, and there's plenty of pictures and video footage of a lot of his performances. He had black singers.
Yeah, he did. The background singers, that's right.
His background singers were black. Elvis took every opportunity, anytime, if there's several documentations of people, black influences that he stood and taken pictures with, and have been seen to have conversations with, presence on Beale Street. You know, this is so it opened up my third eye.
Right.
My third eye was twitching by the time that movie got done, because it made me look within myself again, and it ignited that that sense of saying, look, you got to see for yourself.
Yes, right. That's right. See, and that's so cool, Mr. Markley. I'm gonna ask you to jump on in here before we get to B. And I'm
going to jump on in here and everything, and I hear what y'all are saying, and I can agree to some degree with what you're saying, Pender, and all of that. But from the understanding that I understand in terms of the Elvis picture and everything, is also some of the people that he hung around. And I'm not saying that you have to be associated by those that you associate with, but there were some people in his camp, including the one that kind of orchestrated his career, that were known to have made some very racist statements and all along those lines. So that is one of the things that was going on. And there's also been a conversation around appropriation and whether some of the music that he performed had been appropriated from a music that I love dearly, that being blues music. And even Elvis himself did argue that that is where he got some of his music from, and in that space. And that's just one of the things that I was going to add to the conversation in terms of actual words said. And it did influence some of the work. One of the people of Zach that we honored not that long ago actually had some very interesting comments about Elvis, because he was asked about Elvis last year, that being none other than Quincy Jones, because Quincy Jones was asked whether he would ever work with or had ever been offered an opportunity to work with Elvis. And he said, no, I wouldn't work with him, said Jones, when asked if he would work with Presley. At that point, Quincy Jones is known for telling it like it is. During a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the 88-year-old living musical legend sat down and he dished on all kinds of things, including Billie Holiday's heroin use. And he said, no, I wouldn't work with him. Said Jones when asked if he would work with Presley. I was writing for orchestra leader Tommy Dorsey, oh God, back then in the 50s. And Elvis came in and Tommy said, I don't want to play with him. He was a racist mother. I'm going to shut up now. But every time I saw Elvis, he was being coached by Don't Be Cruel songwriter Otis Blackwell, telling him how to sing. So, like I said, it could have influenced people because of some of the folks that they were associating with and all along those lines. And last but not least, coming back to the railroads, because a lot of times on the whole notion of the economy and who rules what and all of that. Yes, most of the railroads are privately owned and have been privately owned throughout their history. So definitely the railroads are very much a part of the industrial complex, for lack of a better term. And yes, they are oftentimes owned by private individuals, including some very wealthy individuals. I believe Bill Gates owns one that has Canada in the name and all of that. So yeah,
I want to jump back to that Elvis thing for a second, because so what you're basically saying is that he was around or influenced by, or other people didn't want to work with him because of things like that. See, it's a weird kind of time they were in, because I know Ray Charles made a stand and didn't want to play the Chitlin circuit, and Quincy, of course, and those guys, and Sammy Davis Jr. and all of them. But the way I look at it, like, as an artist, I'm looking at this purely from my eyes as an artist. I could see everybody trying to tackle the moment. And of course, Elvis being white, it made it easier for him to be in that moment in those racial times, whereas black artists, of course, could not be forefront. Like Elvis would never have signed with Motown. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, artist wise and whatever else he may done, and I'm sorry he had that habit, because that kind of took him out. But the stage stuff he was doing, obviously all the black people knew where he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the white people that hadn't seen it before. So it was
and if you think about it, they really did. They when Elvis was not well received,
right? That's right. That's
because
right.
everything that he was doing was black based. It was based off of what came out of our community.
Yes.
And so he was not received well. And think about it. They tried to put that man in jail. They forced him to go to the army, which is where he met Priscilla.
Yeah.
They forced him to go into the army. They was either go to jail or go to the army, because of his movement on stage, which they considered lewd, and
gyrations,
and it was really ridiculous.
It was.
But again, and I get it. I absolutely get it. Our old folks say, birds of a feather flock together, and but not always. They might flock, and they might fly and flock together. But you think about it, if you see them all flying in the sky, they always one straggling off to the left, to the right, to the back.
Well, there are definitely stragglers in there, and I'm not saying, because I didn't know the man personally, that he was or was not a racist, but I do know that is some of where the conversation came around. And then, like you saw in the movie, there was allusions to his response because of being from the South himself when Dr. King passed. And it does sound like even some folks, including one of his co-stars, said that he watched the funeral over lunch in his trailer, and he cried. And definitely Celeste Yarnell apparently said that he cared very deeply. So I mean, definitely he had some caring attitudes of some of the plights, and a lot of times that is what goes on between any of the minority community, including the African American and the Native American communities, and those that would be considered quote unquote poor white trash.
I know somewhere I had read or came across, or it was circulated, about his nanny, the black lady that took care of him from the time he was little, stayed with him, made him his peanut butter and banana sandwiches that only she could make for him. And somewhere along the lines, I remember hearing those stories about, the civil rights movement, and how people that were of white, races would always try to talk to, like, the people that work for them, which were mostly black, and get a real good take on why the Wares, how they feel and everything. There's been a lot of great documentaries about that, and I'm just curious, because I'm going to go back and look and see if I can find something that maybe she had said, because I know what I remember, she had nothing but nice things to say about the man himself, not about the image, but about the man.
It's well documented that he wasn't an advocate, or should I say, he was not one of those people that went out and fought for civil rights. Now, that's no secret. He was not that. Yeah. But I think some of us some of us in the African American and in the minority community, we feel we feel deeply, and we, you know, for us, if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yes.
You know, like there's no way to be lukewarm for as far as some of our folk are concerned. I just wanted to put that out there, but you know,
no, you're right.
That's a mentality that we need to break away from. That doesn't mean that somebody's your enemy just because they're not riding or dying with you. I just, you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, you're right about it. Go ahead, Mark. You're right, though.
I agree with you on that. I mean, my biggest complaint, and it's not just Elvis, it's other folks as well. I think that y'all can say the same thing in the funk community as well. But I would definitely appreciate, and I have appreciated Elvis and others, because at least he did acknowledge the role of blues music and the role of early jazz and other things in the creation of his sound. Even some of those gyrations that a lot of people were upset about, including Pender, some of the church community in both our community and other communities as well, that they were upset. He acknowledged that they came from some of our folks that were early blues and early jazz performers, and even some of the cabaret style performance that was going on. So that's all I'm just saying, is that one thing that I gets on my nerves is when folks appropriate things and don't acknowledge that the appropriation has taken place. So at least if you're going to do it, and that's one of the things I appreciate Elvis for. I even appreciate, and I know this is a different type of musicians, but I appreciate the Beatles and the Rolling Stones for acknowledging that they were influenced by our sounds, whatever those sounds were and everything. But it's those that do the music, appropriate it, and then pretend like it came from their heads alone.
Yeah, like it fell from the heavens.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny because, again, all these kids and these guys, whatever. Thank you, Mark. We're gonna get that Brenda stuff ready, man. But to me, they were just seeking out the best that they could get, because in their community they had, you know, Hank Williams and people like that. And Roy Orbison wrote Blue Suede Shoes, so don't y'all forget about that. You know, he wrote some of Elvis's biggest hits. You know, and Roy Orbison was a bad boy.
He was a bad bro.
He was a bad boy. He was a bad boy. He changed the way music sounded on the radio. They had to build recording studios just so he could get what he wanted, because he had so much string activity going on. You know what I'm saying? And he said, no, we're playing country music, but I want violins, I want strings, I want this and that. Right. And he played, if I'm not mistaken, he might have played with Elvis, but I don't know for sure. But I do know he wrote some of Elvis's biggest hits. And you know, again, people always seek the best. When you're trying to be the best, you seek the best. So I ain't mad at him for going to the churches and all of that stuff coming out of church. I ain't mad at you, bro. You left something down here for us.
Yeah.
You filled that void from the 60s and 70s, you know, along with the Temptations and Supremes and Four Tops and, you know, Hendrix, Joplin. You know, he had, the Colonel was smart. There was a void. There was a pocket that wasn't being filled in the game. And he figured out, this guy's perfect. The old Eddie Murphy skit where he said, man, Elvis couldn't even act. He said, they just told him to sing his lines. Elvis, you gonna win this race? I'm going to win this race. He said,
hey, Elvis, want some lemonade? Lemonade.
Right. And from what I hear, he was pissed off because he really wanted to act in some serious shit.
He definitely wanted to act, and he did some acting, and some people say that the acting wasn't as bad as folks gave it credit to be. And I've watched a couple of Elvis movies. Some of them were actually, they might have been campy, but they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
But one of the questions I was going to ask, and I guess it's more for Pender, is do you think that sometimes our own narrative gets in our way? Because part of what's happened, even before the Elvis movie came out, was that there were certain rappers that had very negative things to say about Elvis. I know that Chuck D had a quote about Elvis and Elvis's nature and things along those lines. And unlike you, maybe Chuck didn't do enough research, but we do know that Chuck D is very much of a activist figure. He's very much in that activist space.
Absolutely. And I feel that oftentimes, too often, we run with the narrative of another person, and we allow that wall to remain there, you know, because let's face it, if this person said it, then it's got to be true. And honestly, you know, I was big into hip hop. You know, back in the 80s. I remember that song. I remember. I was hard on that. I was like, yeah, well, that's right.
Living Color wrote that song. Elvis is dead. Yo, there's been a few.
There's been quite a few, and so yeah, my mama say I had to eat crow on that. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
You know what's funny? Now that we're elevating, and everybody out there, please take this seriously. Our opinions are our opinions, not the opinions of StreamYard, Facebook, or any of the platforms
That's
we're
right.
on. They're ours. It's my show. And I have to honestly say at this point, of course, I know there's racism, but being elevated above it, which you are, Mark, which you are, Penda, like we see with the third eye, it's all about getting to the light, no matter how you're going to get there. So let's think in terms of that. We can't solve the problems of the past.
That's right.
All we could do is go forward, share our love with each other, no matter what race, creed, color, agenda. That's what we got to do. And that's going to make it better. Mr. Mark Lee, are we ready?
No, definitely. I was getting ready to pull up those pictures. I saw that you saw that I was doing that. And just really quickly, just as a lighthearted note, if I can, you do know that there's a lot of folks, I'm glad you brought up Elvis, that are still convinced to this day that Elvis and Tupac are hanging out there and they're waiting for them to walk back into space any moment, because there are a lot of folks, and you heard it even alluded to in the movie and everything, that'll swear up and down that Elvis has been in that AMP or that food line. They saw him yesterday.
Elvis is chilling somewhere on the couch. No, stop.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't put nothing past nothing.
Elvis said he was tired now. He was tired. He was trying to get away from the Colonel, child. The Colonel was wearing him.
I know it is.
Getting
Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Prince. When you got mugs that want to dress like you, not here, but around the world, you've done something. You, Bootsy and George, we won't be like, you've done something.
I know a dude in Cary right now, literally got a replica of almost every outfit Elvis ever wore.
Yeah.
Wow. Right now.
Speaking of which, right, I'm going to help Mark out here. Mark, stay on the line.
I was going to do that next.
No, stay on. This part of our show, we always do like a hero of the month, because they try to take Black history out of the schools. And Mark and I decided in January, the last 10 minutes of our show, every week, we're going to highlight someone, be they Black, Mexican, Asian, Japanese, male, female, transgender, gay, straight, LGBTQ++++ community. We make sure we cover all bases. This week, we're highlighting none other than Brenda Robinson. She was an amazing woman, and still her spirit lives through us. She was on the board of the first Funketeers Ball. It was her baby, from what I understand. I might be wrong, but I think it was her baby along with a few other people. And Brenda, we miss you. We love you. We turned it out for you. I know you were watching and smiling from your place. And this woman, and before I let you guys get into it, this woman, I had 2 CDs left when I went there, basically with no gas for the first ball. And I gave her my last CD because I knew she was with P-Funk Radio. And she played it in the car along with Mike Hampton and Keith, driving Mike Hampton back to the hotel. And I get a call the next day from Keith Jackson. And the CD had 3 songs on it: Revolution, a song called Beast Mode, True Funk Soldier, and Spiritual Purpose. And Keith flipped out and he said, man, we're going to play Revolution next Friday. I was so excited. Had I not met her that night and gave her, and she was Honeybee, because that's her funk moniker, that CD, I wouldn't have been able to make the connections with P-Funk Radio like I did. And Brenda, you are so awesome. And there's nothing that I could say that people don't already know about you. So I'm going to let you, take the lead, Pendo, on this one. And then Mark, you chime in.
Man, like I said, I was not privileged to meet Miss Brenda. However, there's nobody can convince me that her spirit was not there on Saturday night. she was, just from what I've been told, and again what I felt, she was there. It was strong. It was a complete. It was as complete of a show as it could have been, and her spirit was there. And like I said, unfortunately I did not get to meet you, Miss Brenda, on this side of the funk, but I will see you on the other side.
Amen.
I also did not get to meet or get to really know Brenda either, but I am definitely, and I've alluded to this to you before, Zach, and I've alluded to it on this show several times, a big believer in ancestral connections and in sacred ground and all of that. And it seems to me, and I have been in places, including the National Black Theater Festival shortly after Larry Leon passed, where sacred ground moments take place. And I think that that's what happened to y'all. That particular location will be sacred ground from now on, because she was one of those founders and all along those lines. And once you got that piece of sacred ground, it remains sacred ground, and it always has that ancestral connection. I don't care if you're working down in downtown Winston, which is where the National Black Theater Festival is, or if you even walk into the Hayti Heritage Center, which, while it was not Baba Chuck's home, it was a place that he spent a lot of time in that place and everything. And you can feel those ancestors among us, even when they are no longer here on this planet. And like Pender just said, I also will probably meet you on that other side. No, probably I will meet you on that other side when that time is here on this plane that we live in here now. And all along those lines, I have deep sympathy for your husband's loss, because he was definitely one of those guiding forces with you. But I do believe that you will be guiding not just his life, but also Zach's life, because I've heard Zach speak highly of you, not just on this show, but in life in general. And you'll be guiding the future of people that didn't even know you. There are children of the funk. There are grandchildren of the funk that I'm sure, whether it is on this show or on other shows, will learn about your history and your heritage, and you will impact them as well. So definitely a believer in sacred ground. And I know that you have created some new sacred grounds around the world, but you are also looking over all of us as you go on into that next plane.
That's an excellent take, Mark, man. That's one of the hottest takes you've done this year, bro. Yo, let me tell you, Pender said it, you said it, sacred ground. It's like sacred ground, man. Brenda, we love you. You're our hero this week. And like we all just stated, we'll see you on the other side. We're going to have a moment of silence for Brenda. So you's out there watching, whatever, we're just going to take one moment just to acknowledge. So whatever you do, whoever you may or may not pray to is fine. But, just close your eyes for a minute. And we're going to take a moment of silence. So we're going to come back and give Pender the last word. Then we're going to get out of here on Funk from the Front Seat. Thank you guys so much for that, man. We appreciate you. And nothing but the fun. Mr. Mark, man.
But, bro.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. Mark, you'll be at the next one, of course. But, you were there in spirit. Everyone that was there in spirit, we kudos to you. And you guys, please stay active on the chat line. Today was such a beautiful show, Funk from the Front Seat. The amazing Lounge Lizards, my brother's keeper, Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0, Tony Cameron, the Funk All Stars. It's all lined up perfectly. Pender, you were a great guest today. Thank you so much, Mark. Great producer. And before we leave, shout out P Funk Radio, Keith Jackson, Bootsy and Patty, of course, HJ Entertainment, Kane and Jams, Tony Cam, Funk All Stars, Nappy Head Funk Army, Oak City Music Collective. Diego, I hope you and Tammy are feeling better. Afterglow, 92416, Donna Sneed, man, I love you. Q&A Entertainment, Brooke Gladgett down in my Funk Angel. Thank you for the present. Love to Excess Energy Drinks, Pat, Curtis, and George, who do all my artwork back here. You guys are amazing. Dr. Brookenstein, who works with Nappy Head Funk Army, takes care of all our stuff. DJ Coccolino over in Italy. David Webb of the Funk Chronicles, thank you for all the articles you write, especially the one you did on us. We appreciate that. And, I'm going to be in touch with you soon to get you on the show. And I met a new friend. We have somebody now that's, in Brazil. So, Carol, thank you for following us from Brazil. I talked to you today on the phone, brother. Thank you. Brazil, yo, shout out. I didn't know I was reaching that far, but thank you. You never know, right? He calls me up, man. He said, yo, I got this thing. I was like, hey, Brazil's in the house. So thank you, man. Mark, we're getting ready to get out of here. Penda, I'm going to give you the last word, man. And then we're going to go maybe a little advice or encouragement for our youth out
there. My Funk family. Through all things, love first. Love, light, and positivity. Negative things, keep them as low to the ground as you can. And you ride the high on those things that are positive and those things that uplift you and uplift others around you. Be the beacon of light that you want to see in other people. Lead by being that light. I love you guys. Zach Robertson, Mark Lee, Chocolate City Funk Alliance, Chocolate City Alliance, Tony Cam, P-Funk All-Stars, The Amazing Lounge Lizards, Brothers Keeper RDU, Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0. I am your Miss PDJ, performance artist, vocalist. Whatever you need, whatever you want, we got it. We're going to give it to you. Funkin' all day, every day. Love y'all.
What's up. That's what's up. Pender, you've been great. We're going to get out of here on this cut. Y'all hear me out there? This is what I'm talking about. This is for Brenda. This is the one that she likes that we did. I want you to get up on this one. So, Brenda, I love you, man. This is how we're going to kick it. Come on. Here we go. Yeah. There's a spiritual purpose. Yeah. You know how it is. The Lord Jesus Christ. Here we go. There's a spiritual purpose. That's what this whole thing is about, y'all. Nothing but love for you. I can hear you calling me. What? 4 months on a ship. What a trip. Yeah. What a slave. 10,000 miles away from the motherland. You relate to that, right? What have we done wrong? We don't understand. There's a spiritual purpose. You know it is, right? Right. We love you out there, man. Yes, we do. Not on the Grind TV, Funk from the Front Seat. We got you. Call us up. You ain't by yourself. You ain't alone, ever. Things we don't understand. Helps us to heal the land. Yeah. Girl, you fell in love. We got you. 9 months later, woo! A child was born. From the front seat, y'all. You had plans for a family. Now the father's gone. Still you stay strong. The spiritual purpose. Everyone needs
Helps us to live sometimes we have to cry. All the children of the world, man, woman, boy, and girl. Things we don't understand.
We get ready to get out of here, man. We'll see y'all next time. And don't forget, peace, love, and harmony. Funk from the front seat. Our guest today was Pender Jones. And if you don't know, now you know. Let's go home, Mark.
All right.